Hi everyone, on today's episode of Researching Stocks, we're going to take a look at the stock of Square. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hi everyone, my name is Avishai and I talk about stocks, investing with startups as an angel investor, some crypto investing, and sometimes some alternative investing. Now, before I dive into researching the stock of Square and their Q2 2021 results, I'm asking you to smash that like button. It's free and it helps the channel. Zooming into the results, we can see right away that Square had $1.14 billion in gross profit, which was a 91% increase year over year. And the Cash App had a gross profit of $546 million, and that is an increase of 94% year over year. Let's say what they highlighted here: as customers find value across our ecosystem, they have adopted more products and brought a greater amount of funds into Cash App. Compared to 2 years ago, inflows per monthly transacting active customers nearly doubled and gross profit per customer was up 2.5 times. Very interesting numbers from Square, which from what I understand is really growing that Cash App aggressively. And you can see that with their sellers revenue, they did $585 million with 85% year over year. Now, for those of you who don't know how the Cash App looks like, I highly recommend downloading it if you're a United States citizen. And for those of you who don't know what the seller's income is coming from, it's from everything around that B2B business that they have with sellers POS systems. Looking at what they wrote to their shareholders, we delivered a strong growth at scale during the second quarter of 2021. Gross profit grew 91% year over year to $1.14 billion, which was 57% on a 2-year compound annual growth basis. In our seller ecosystem, gross profit was $585 million, up 85% year over year and 30% on a 2-year CAGR basis. Our Cash App ecosystem delivered gross profit of $546 million, an increase of 94% year over year and 128% on a 2-year CAGR basis. In April, we acquired a majority ownership stake in Untitled, the global music and entertainment platform. We believe there is an opportunity to provide artists tools to participate in the economy and grow as entrepreneurs, and we are excited to continue integrating Untitled team into Square. So for those of you who don't know, Square is really big on doing strategic acquisitions, and one acquisition was done in the first quarter and another one was done in the second quarter of this year. So let's look at the company's weekly active users, and we can see that the weekly active users that they had percentage out of monthly active users, and we can see that there is at least in the monthly active users more than 50% that are weekly active users, which just shows that the app is used on a weekly basis and not just a monthly basis. They talk about here driving engagement. They believe everyone should be able to participate in the economy, and Cash App strives to help more individuals access and understand investing. Since its launch, their stock brokerage product has seen significant adoption. Nearly 4.5 million customers held a stock or ETF in the second quarter alone, an increase of more than 3x from a year ago. So they tripled the amount of people that they had with at least one stock or ETF on the platform. So what else do they say here? We have also launched custom orders, which allows customers to easily set specific buy and sell orders based on price, simplifying a traditionally complex process. Our ecosystem continues to be a differentiator as we find that customers who are trading stocks or holding them in their portfolio have engaged more with other products like Cash Card or Bitcoin and have generated greater gross profit per customer. So an interesting tidbit I want to note right now is that Square was one of the first companies to actually have Bitcoin cashback and Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So that's an important thing to note about the Square company. If you want to know why they added Bitcoin to their balance sheet, it is mostly because Jack Dorsey, the CEO, is a huge crypto bull, and he really believes that there is a big future for crypto in the economy. So looking at their sellers results, you can see that the percent of larger sellers has grown. They have a lot of sellers right now who are having more than $500,000 in transactions yearly. And you can see that out of the percentages, the sidecar payments has decreased. There was an increase in financial services and an increase in software and integrated payments. The company is talking about expanding globally. Our international strategy is focused on investing further into brand and product awareness while improving product parity in new and existing markets. We recently launched brand awareness campaigns in countries around the world with focus on driving a broader understanding of our product capabilities. In the second quarter, we began offering loans to Square sellers in Australia, our first international market for Square loans. During an important time of recovery, we believe widening access to credit will help our Australian sellers continue growing their business and creating new jobs. We also launched instant transfers in Canada, allowing sellers to transfer their funds to a bank account as soon as they're received. In May, we entered Ireland with our most comprehensive new market launch yet, with 10 software products and 3 hardware devices. Small businesses make up nearly all of Ireland's total businesses, while the market's payments and point of sale landscape has historically been dominated by traditional providers, presenting an opportunity for Square to stand out by offering innovative omni-channel solutions. So basically what Square is saying is that they're not just expanding internationally, they're expanding internationally with a special intent. And they have countries in mind in terms of which countries they can really disrupt with their technology and their ecosystem. Here's a small quote from one of their customers. We're a relatively young business, and so many banks wouldn't even look at us. Those that would include hidden fees or take long time to approve. With Square, everything was incredibly transparent and really straightforward. Life is volatile at the moment, and the speed and ease of getting a Square loan has enabled us to invest and grow our delivery services. So I'm pretty sure there's many other clients like this, and the company is really giving their customers to access capital in one of the most needed times in the history of mankind. So after talking about the company's gross profit, let's talk about their gross payment volume. They had $42.8 billion in payment volume, which 90% of that was the sellers and 10% of that was through the Cash App. Another important thing here to note is that the Cash App generated $2.72 billion of Bitcoin revenue and $55 million of Bitcoin gross profit during the second quarter of 2021, each up approximately 3x year over year. Bitcoin revenue and gross profit benefited from a year-over-year increase in the price of Bitcoin and Bitcoin activities and growth in customer demand. Compared to the first quarter of 2021, Bitcoin revenue and gross profit decreased on a quarter-over-quarter basis, driven primarily by relative stability in the price of Bitcoin, which affected trading activity compared to prior quarters. So basically what we can learn from this is that if Bitcoin is volatile, the company is going to make more money. Square capitalizes on the volatility of the price in transactions, and if the price is trading in a more stable range, that will cause the revenues from Bitcoin to decrease. Now let's look at the company's operating expenses. And I want to look at product development expenses, which were up 57%, and they are driven primarily by an increase in headcount and personnel costs related to their engineering, data science, and design teams, meaning that the company is investing heavily in R&D and in the growth of the company. So this is a 100% hyper growth stock. In addition to all that R&D investment, there is also investments in sales and marketing. The company had expenses of $375 million, and that was up 58%. Cash App marketing expenses were up 44% year over year, driven primarily by increases in peer-to-peer transactions related to transaction losses, cash card issuances, advertising, and referrals and incentives. And here's how much they invested in Bitcoin. Square invested in the fourth quarter of 2020, $50 million, and in the first quarter of 2021, they invested $170 million in Bitcoin. As of June 30, 2021, the fair value of their investment in Bitcoin was $281 million based on observable market prices, which is $127 million greater than the carrying value of the investment. Now let's talk about the company's net income. And in the second quarter of 2021, the net income was $204 million. And during the second quarter, they recognized a gain of $77 million, driven primarily by the sale of their remaining investment in DoorDash. So some of that profit actually came from selling shares of a different company. So not all of it is from operations. The adjusted EBITDA was $360 million in the second quarter of 2021 compared to a $98 million in the second quarter of 2020. The adjusted net income per share was 0.66 on a diluted basis on 523 million weighted average diluted shares for the second quarter of 2021, representing a 0.48 improvement year over year. In terms of the company's balance sheet and cash flow, they ended the second quarter of 2021 with $7.1 billion in available liquidity, with $6.6 billion in cash, cash equivalents, restricted cash, and investments in marketable debt securities, as well as $500 million available to be withdrawn from a revolving credit facility they have. On May 20 of this year, they completed offering $2 billion in senior notes. This offer strengthens their balance sheet and supports the growth of the company, and the notes mature in 2026 with coupons of 2.75% and 3.5% for the 2031 notes. So meaning that they actually are paying some interest anywhere between 2.75 to 3.5 on notes that will only have to be paid in 5 years and 10 years. So what were the July trends and what are they looking forward at? They wanted to provide an update on the trends, so they're looking at July and they're expecting their seller business to deliver strong gross profit year over year. The Cash App ecosystem is to deliver a positive gross profit year over year. They achieve strong engagement across products, and they're looking ahead to the remainder of 2021, where they really believe that there is going to be an uptrend all the way till the end of the year in terms of their performance and revenue. So a upbeat guidance by the people at Square. Now, it's important to note that I am long Square and I'm biased the stock, and I'm a really big believer in the product and the management team behind the company. And even though I am long the company, I cannot tell you to buy the stock because I'm not a financial advisor and I can't give you any kind of investment recommendations. But you can do your own homework on Square and decide if Square is the kind of investment for you. I will note that it is a volatile stock. It is not considered, in my opinion, a speculative stock, but it is a hyper growth stock which will have a lot of down days and a lot of up days that are more than 1-2% to each side. Now, if you found this video useful and you haven't hit that like button yet, this is the time to hit the like button. And if you have never been on this channel, it's your first time seeing me, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications so you can get notified when new videos come out on this channel. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.